You may have a seat, please. We will now call the House to order, please. Cameramen, are we set? Please may close the door. Of Strategic Communications, Ms. Oge Funlola-Modi, standing in for the Chairman of the Presidential Communications Team, PCT. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Country Risk Assessment and Evaluation, Colonel Felix Alaita, retired. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, Dr. Shuaib Belgore. All Senior Special Assistants, personal assistants to the President, and all members of the Presidential Communications Team here present. May I also use this opportunity to recognize the following members of the delegation accompanying the Honorable Minister for this briefing today. Seated on the table here, we have the Comptroller General of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Ahmed Audi. Comptroller General of the Nigeria Correctional Service, Haliru Nababa. Acting Comptroller General of the Nigeria Immigration Service, Issa Jere Idris. And I think we're expecting the Comptroller General of the Federal Fire Service, Dr. Liman Ibrahim. We also acknowledge all the directors, team members, accompanying the Honorable Minister of Interior, and of course, gentlemen of the press, good morning. I humbly welcome you to the 23rd session of the State House briefing organized by the Presidential Communications Team. You may recall that we had the honor of hosting the Inspector General of Police at the last session of the briefing, which was focused on internal security. In continuation with our theme focused on national security in Nigeria, the State House briefing for today, Thursday, 11th November 2021, would put a spotlight on internal security, key reforms in immigration, protection of the borders, and also the work being done by the Ministry of Interior. This session, as you all know, will be anchored by the Minister of Interior, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, who will do justice to this topic as he speaks to the press for a period of 20 to 30 minutes with his presentation, after which we will take questions solely based on the ministry and agencies under the supervision of the ministry, as well as strides being made by the Ministry of Interior. At this juncture, it is my honor to invite the Honorable Minister to the podium for his presentation. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I must first of all express my deep appreciation to the offices and personalities that put this together for the benefit of Nigerians, the ministries and the officials of all agencies to candidly, I will not remove it all. It's a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate the efforts of all those who put this together. Gentlemen of the press, this program is extremely appreciated, and we'll make the best use of it. I have the pleasure to present to the gentlemen of the press here programs, reforms, and initiatives of the Ministry of Interior in the last 2 years, with emphasis on internal security and public safety. If you listen to very well, I feel I should not bore you with the usual courtesies, and I hope you accept that. I adopt whatever courtesy the compere had laid out. My presentation will also touch on correctional services, immigration, protection of our borders, as well as citizenship and business services rendered to the public, as well as the ancillary services provided by the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. The Ministry of Interior has evolved over the years when it was first created as Ministry of Internal Affairs in 1957 by the colonial authorities. What we have today emerged in 2015 when President Muhammadu Buhari merged the Ministry of Internal Affairs with the Ministry of Police Affairs, although the latter was eventually excised from it in 2019. The Ministry of Interior, which I just now referred to as the ministry, has the mandate for formulating and implementing policies, programs that enhance internal security, public safety, create an enabling environment for foreign investors, as well as the promotion and maintenance of the integrity of the Nigerian citizenship, all of which are key pillars in the priority areas of the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. The ministry has the mandate for the registration of places of worship for the purpose of conduct of statutory marriages, issuance of expatriate quota, and permit for foreign businesses to operate in Nigeria, and processing applications for Nigerian citizenship for the consideration of Mr. President. The ministry oversees 4 paramilitary agencies and a board. These are the Nigerian Correctional Service, NCOS, Nigeria Immigration Service, NIS, the Federal Fire Service, FFS, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, and the Civil Defense, Correctional, Fire and Immigration Services Board, CDCFIB, responsible for recruitment, promotion, and discipline of officers and men of the 4 paramilitary agencies under the ministry. As you may be aware, the focus of this administration is built around 3 strategic areas of security, economy, and anti-corruption. That is the way it is captioned by you, but when I took over the administration of this ministry, I captioned it security, economy, and transparency, which I say set. From these 3 broad objectives, the federal government has selected 9 main priority areas for its own intervention. They are: 1, to stabilize the microeconomy, increase agricultural productivity and food security, ensure energy sufficiency, improve transportation and other infrastructure, drive industrialization, improve health, education, and productivity of Nigerians, enhance social inclusion by scaling up social investments, fight corruption, and improve governance, and provide security for all citizens. From the 9 broad priorities, the primary key performance indicator assigned to the Ministry of Interior by Mr. President is the provision of security for all citizens. I will now proceed to the programs, policies, and initiatives of the military towards achieving the mandate of the President. And I'm starting with the Nigerian Immigration Service. The ministry is aware of the challenges faced by applicants for processing and reissue of passports. I want to use this unique opportunity to assure Nigerians that the current experience will soon be a thing of the past. I'm pleased to inform Nigerians that the ministry has taken substantial measures to address the issue of shortage of electronic passport booklets. This year alone, the ministry has approved a special deployment of over 600,000 passport booklets, the largest ever done, to cushion the effects of shortages being experienced, to limit human interference with the passport application process, gradually eliminate corruption, and improve efficiency. We are reforming the entire passport application, production, and issuance process. In the coming days, a new and digital appointment management system will be launched to optimize the passport application experience for Nigerians, limit physical visit and personal contacts to and in passport offices, and eliminate inconveniences that Nigerians suffer in booking appointments for biometric data capture. We are also decentralizing and strengthening passport production centers across the country by working with our service providers to increase capacity. I'm pleased to inform you that in 90 days, the Nigerian Immigration Service will be opening additional biometric capture centers across the country, which is expected to ease the pressure at high-traffic passport offices like Ikoyi, Abuja, Alausa, Amuwodofi, Ibadan, and Kano, among others. We are working assiduously to reform the passport application and issuance process. This reform is going to be a continuous process until we get to a situation where Nigerians can seamlessly, transparently, and effortlessly apply for passport and get one. And we are able to significantly enhance the integrity of the travel document, which is the most authentic means of identification as a citizen of any country. Gentlemen of the press, please recall that a core mandate of the Ministry of Interior alluded to earlier in my presentation is the promotion and maintenance of citizenship integrity. So this is quite combined and in order. You may wish to note that the passport is the only means of citizenship identification where the President expressly committed to the international community that the holder is a citizen and should be accorded all the respect due to the country. It is therefore our unwavering commitment to ensure a world-class customer service to all passport applicants. It is important that I led the gentlemen of the press into some of the objectives of this reform, which we have embarked on and committed to. They include the following. 1, to enhance the integrity of the Nigerian passport by ensuring that non-Nigerians are not able to obtain the Nigerian passport. The enhancement of the integrity of the passport comes with a number of benefits for holders crossing international borders. Our reform will ensure that it becomes easier for an elephant to pass through the eye of the needle than for a non-Nigerian or any unauthorized person to hold the Nigerian passport. 2, one of the measures we have put in place is to link the passport to the national identity number, NIN. We have added an additional layer of request for the permanent home address of applicants, we shall be verified physically before we issue the passport. This is to authenticate their ethnic origin and prevent non-Nigerians from obtaining our passport. To achieve these objectives, we are investing heavily in human and material resources towards effective screening and verification of breeder documents presented to support passport applications and proof of citizenship. It is important that I let Nigerians know that this is a critical part in the application process and will require time. I urge all Nigerians to support us to regain the integrity of our passport. The Nigerian passport booklet is one of the most secured in the world, with security features that make it tamper-proof. As a ministry, we are committed to enhancing the application process to a similar status in our effort to promote and maintain citizenship integrity. 3, to eliminate touting and every form of corruption from the system, which has made passport application expensive and difficult for many Nigerians. The touting business around our passport offices has become a big industry that is frustrating our desire for a seamless application process. This we must stop, and we are going to stop. To ensure a system of total quality, easy processing of applications and collection of passports by applicants, the reform will back a world-class customer service for passport applicants to bring passport services closer to the people as much as practicable. May I also inform this august gathering that we have commenced the process of establishing a local facility for the production of electronic passport booklets in Nigeria. It's also important to inform you that we have witnessed growing demand for the Nigerian passport both locally and by Nigerians in the diaspora. A total of 2,782,216 passports were produced between 2019 to date. Out of these 2,442,000, out of this, please let me take that again. Out of this, 2,742,207 passports were issued with 40,009 remaining uncollected. I hope you follow that bit. That yes, there are complaints, but even those we produce are not fully collected. In 2017, 1,018,365 passports were produced, out of which 1,010,437 were issued. In 2018, 1,062,321 passports were produced, out of which 1,064,127 were issued. We understand that this growth reflects the demographic distribution of the country's population, which is heavily skewed in favor of the youth, and is the demography that globally dominates migration. The year-on-year increased growth is, however, putting a lot of pressure on the current processing structure and resources, and further justifies the need for a reform in the passport application and processing system in line with the current reality. And that I've spoken about. This year alone, up till the 9th of November, some 32 hours ago, we have issued 798,390 passports. In addition, between May and June, the ministry approved a special deployment of 200,000 passport booklets worldwide, globally, to clear backlogs occasioned by the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the passport processes. It is also noteworthy that there is a total of 56,135 uncollected passports this year alone. Out of the ones we produced in this year, at the period between May and July, well, let's say May and now, It is to limit human interference and corruption. We are streamlining the whole passport application and production process to increase efficiency. In the coming days, a new digital appointment management system will be launched to optimize the passport application experience for Nigerians, limit physical visits to passport office, and eliminate person-to-person contact in passport application and issuance process, and check the inconvenience Nigerians suffer in booking appointments for biometric data capture. We are also digitalizing and strengthening passport production centers across the country, working with our service provider to increase capacity. I'm pleased to inform you that before the year runs out, the Immigration Service will be opening additional front offices across the country, specifically to ease the pressure at high-traffic passport offices. The ministry is also not unaware or mindful of the activities of some unscrupulous elements within our immigration service. We are committed to identifying all such officers and make them to face the full consequence of their action. We are appealing to Nigerians to help us identify them. To underscore our resolve, we recently launched the Nigeria Immigration Service Code of Conduct and Ethics document to regulate the conduct of Nigerian Immigration Service personnel in ensuring that services are rendered most seamlessly, transparently, and courteously while checking the SSCs of the staff. The objectives of this initiative include to assist immigration officers and men to understand the standard and appropriate conduct expected of them in the execution of their duties, to build a strong integrity culture among immigration officers so as to restore and enhance public confidence in them and services they render, to facilitate effective and quality service delivery while instilling zero tolerance for corruption, and 4, to promote continuous evaluation and improvement in service delivery. To underscore our commitment at enforcing this code of conduct, we have instituted a whistleblowing and mystery shopping policy to identify bad eggs in the system who are willfully frustrating the effort to provide seamless services and operation to Nigerians. You may wish to recall the recent sting operation carried out by the Acting Controller General of Immigration. This is in line with the initiative we have adopted to clean up the system of bad eggs. Again, I must solicit the support and cooperation of the Nigerians, public and people towards this. We shall soon make public dedicated phone numbers and lines and social media accounts and platforms to report officers who are engaged in corrupt practices. We recently completed and commissioned the Nigerian Immigration Service Technology Building, fully equipped with state-of-the-art devices and linked to global database designed to curb international crime. The implication of this on security, particularly protection of our borders, is that Nigeria now has a well-equipped immigration technology building to serve as data recovery center housing all migration information both locally and internationally. The objectives for this very important center are: 1, to remotely monitor all activities around our borders, air, land, and sea, in real time from the national headquarters. To link Nigeria up with the global community in our effort to reduce international crime. In the period under review, we launched the ICAO compliant Nigerian temporary passport. Prior to its launch, there was emergency travel certificate, which was a paper that can be easily forged, and it contains no security features and could be used by anybody to enter Nigeria. There is now a new temporary electronic passport that is available for a one-way traveling for Nigerians in diaspora who might have lost their passports and are therefore unable to renew. The temporary electronic passport has 3 months validity with enforced security features that links the biodata of the traveler to the e-passport. The objective of this policy is to make traveling to Nigeria easy to Nigerians in diaspora who have expired passport or lost passport and need to travel to the motherland at very short notice. Those of you in Nigeria might not appreciate the importance of this, but those who are outside who know that they cannot even approach any airport without a valid travel document will appreciate this. It has also reduced the possibility of non-Nigerians using the emergency travel certificate to enter Nigeria. We have fully implemented biometric visa at all entry points into the country. Hitherto, there was paper-stamped visa with no security and personalization features. The new electronic-based biometric visa is integrated with the Migration Data Analysis System, MIDAS, and has enhanced security features. The security objective of this include the following. 1, to have full security control of migrants into Nigeria at top entry points. To identify and deter persons of interest or persons who are on Interpol wanted persons list right at the port of the immigration officers in the various entry points. This has further enhanced the security of the country as it relates to Interpol profiled international criminals. And this has endeared and engendered international respect. To complement the implementation of biometric visa, we have deployed migration data analysis system at all entry points in the country for proper notification of travelers. MIDAS is also integrated to Interpol I-247. The objective is to ensure full security profiling, control, and proper identification of travelers. During the period we are looking at, the Nigerian Immigration Service unveiled the Nigeria Visa Policy, MVP 2020, in compliance with the Presidential Executive Order 1 on ease of doing business and to adopt best practices in visa administration. Notable features of the MVP 2020 include the expansion of visa categories from just 6 to 79, coding and simplification of application process to ensure that visas are easy to specifically match the purpose of travel to Nigeria. If you're a journalist, this interests you, we'll just give you a blank visa. We'll give you a visa describing you, providing you as a journalist. So should you now deviate from why you are here, it will be easy for us to identify and pick you up. Notable features of the MVP 2020 include the expansion of visa categories from 6 to 79, coding and simplification of application process to ensure that visas are issued to specifically match the purpose of travel to Nigeria. This latter feature will significantly aid the operational activities of immigration officers and other security agencies. You can't escape. We have achieved the full automation of our visa on arrival process and working towards maintaining a premium world-class website for NIS. We have implemented the Advanced Passenger Information System, APIS, which has been fully deployed at all entry points. The implication of this is that Nigeria now has the capacity to have full details of all incoming travelers into the country, even before their arrival. We are still going to expand, but once you board, we have everything about you. It enables our security agencies to carry out detailed profiling of all incoming passengers and necessary security checks before their arrival into the country. Of course, this will be expanded, and I won't explain that further, to the point of even as we are thinking of coming to Nigeria, we already know you are thinking of coming to Nigeria. And don't think it's a joke. That is the work of technology. But we are still at the point of boarding. Once we board, already known to us. There is increased border surveillance and patrol by the NIS to prevent undesirable persons from entering Nigeria. Presently, all international airports are connected to Interpol I-247 through the MIDAS system. We have established 14 fully equipped forward border patrol operation bases with plans to increase the number in the next financial year. Nigerian Immigration Service has equally commenced the full implementation of National Border Management Strategy, NBMS 2019-2023. We are committed to launching the e-border project to further enhance the effective surveillance of our 4,477 kilometer land borders, land boundary, and 353 kilometers blue border line, that is shoreline boundary, through technology. But they are physically now. Therefore, effective surveillance and coverage, technology is the way out. We have recently inaugurated the electronic data management system at the Nigerian Immigration Service. Prior to its inauguration, document management and administrative systems were paper-based and very cumbersome. The deployment of EDMS at all administrative levels of the agency has reduced the level of paper-based processes and processing time. This is expected to complement all the initiatives we are taking on quality customer service. As of today, over 153,000 lost and stolen Nigerian passports have been uploaded after successfully connecting the passport database with that of the National Central Bureau, NCB, of Interpol at the Interpol Police Database domiciled in the Nigerian Police Force. This has significant implications on national security. It must be pointed out that Nigeria is the only country in Africa with this capacity for real-time uploading of lost and stolen passports. I think I've exhausted the activities, operation and service of the Nigerian Immigration Service. So I'm moving to correctional service now. The Nigerian Correctional Service. There are various ongoing information and education programs for inmates in our custodial facilities. This service, that is the Nigerian Correctional Service, in partnership with the Nigeria Open University, National Open University of Nigeria now, has increased the number of study centers to 10 across correctional formations. Abeokuta, Anambra, Enugu, Kaduna, Kefi, Kude, Lafia, Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Umuahia. There are currently about 465 inmates running various degree programs. 85 of the inmates are running postgraduate programs. 4 are running PhD programs within the custodial facilities. 560 inmates have been enrolled for WAEC NECO examinations, and 2,300 for adult literacy classes in several custodial centers. Additional bolster training institutions for young offenders, male and female, are to be established in each state of the Federation. We have integrated the construction of life centers into the 3,000 capacity custodial facilities in each of the geopolitical zones. The focus of these centers will be on behavior modification of inmates to reduce the rate of recidivism and facilitate the reintegration of inmates upon release from custody, in line with the new name of the service, Nigerian Correctional Service. In the period under review, we commenced the construction of 3,000 modern capacity custodial center or facility in each of the 6 geopolitical zones. Construction is almost at completion stages in Janguza, Kano, and the percentage of completion is 85%. And will be completed by April, Inshallah, 2022. Karishi in the FCT, 65% completion, and Bori in Rivers State, 40% completion. This will decongest the custodial centers, ensure good living conditions for inmates, and support the implementation of the Nigerian Correctional Service Act 2019 with the goal of rehabilitating, reformation, and reintegration of inmates. You wonder that I mentioned 3 out of 6. We work on budget. At least two will be started in the coming financial year, 2022. Yes, Inshallah. In the period under review, also, we commenced the implementation of the Nigerian Correctional Service Act 2019 with the goal of rehabilitating, reformation, and reintegration of inmates. The Nigerian Prison Service that was abolished was a lock and key system for prisoners. The objective of the amended act is to focus on reformation of inmates and to empower them with skills and vocation that will make them economically viable upon release. The overall purpose is to reduce and monitor the rate of recidivism in our custodial facilities. This is being integrated into the Correctional Information Management System. This will help to conduct risk and assessment for offenders in our custody and help to develop correctional treatment method suitable for their rehabilitation, reintegration, and information based on historical record. And this information management system too will expose to us who their friends are. Let me cleverly put it that. The ministry has initiated the process of expanding vocational programs in custodial facilities to become well-equipped enterprise centers in line with the new focus of rehabilitation and reformation of inmates. We have commenced a public-private partnership for the establishment of 5 billion naira shoe and garment factories in Kano and Abia states respectively. There are other initiatives as work in progress to expose inmates to training in auto repairs, electronics, bakery, through PP arrangements, etc. The objective is to provide skill acquisition and economic empowerment of inmates upon their release. In line with the amended act, the Non-Custodial Measures Service Directorate has taken effect. Office accommodation has been provided at the national headquarters of the Nigerian Correctional Service and in all the 36 states of the Federation, including FCT. Staff training and capacity building on non-custodial measures are ongoing. The National Committee on Non-Custodial Measures will be appointed by the President upon confirmation by the National Assembly very, very soon. We have reactivated many of the custodial farm centers for large-scale agricultural production. Prior to this reactivation, the huge expanse of farmland owned by the Nigerian Correctional Service were not optimally utilized. Kujama farm in Kaduna is currently being cultivated for maize. Lakushi farm in Plateau is being cultivated for rice, while the Ozala farm in Edo is being cultivated for palm oil. New farm structures have been built for livestock production, piggery and fishery to reposition the farms and enhance the training of inmates in plant and animal husbandry. The objective is to position the Nigerian Correctional Service farmlands to support agricultural production in the country, while the immediate objective is to produce a significant portion of the food that will be used to feed the inmates. In the area of health, Nigerian Correctional Service renovated and upgraded medical centers, procured ambulances, and substantial quantity of drugs in the custodial center for the health care of inmates. It is worthy of note, and this to me is very, very significant, that the Nigerian Correctional Service has not recorded any case of COVID-19 infection in any of the custodial facilities that we have. I expect that you are going to applaud us for this. Is a world-class feat that calls for national and international recognition. Very few nations can make this leap. We are proud to tell Nigerians and the world that since the advent of the fearsome COVID-19 pandemic, not one person in our care, either as convicts or as awaiting trial inmates, has been infected in any of our custodial facilities. The ministry has faced a number of challenges in recent times in the area of safe custody of persons that are either awaiting trial or have been convicted by the state. Our custodial facilities have been targets of attacks by enemies of the state. Let me use the opportunity to assure Nigerians that the ministry is doing everything possible to address the situation in conjunction with relevant security agencies. And we are going to prevent any further attack which will lead to forced release of inmates in our care. I would like to inform Nigerians that we have captured the biometric information of all inmates in the facility of the Nigerian Correctional Service, working in partnership with NIMC, the Nigerian Identity Management Commission. Therefore, we have the capacity and are tracking all escapees from our facilities. In addition, we are working with and have shared the details of escapees with Interpol to share the risk of cross-border movements. There are ongoing efforts by the Nigerian Correctional Service to rearrest inmates that have escaped from our custodial facilities in recent times. However, in order to make this initiative more comprehensive, broad, and global, we shall soon inaugurate a ministerial task force specifically for the rearrest of the escapees. The composition of the task force cuts across various ministries and agencies and includes civil society organizations, police, community relations organizations, and other stakeholders that can help to track and rearrest the escapees and their collaborators. The task force is expected to set in motion deliberate strategies to ensure that every fleeing inmate is rearrested and their collaborators too are prosecuted. I want to assure you that the escapees will soon have no hiding place. I mean that they can run, but they cannot hide, because we have everything about them. We have commenced vulnerability assessment of all custodial facilities across the country. This has become imperative from the recent attacks on some of our custodial facilities across the country. The objective of this includes, one, to verify the security situation of all custodial facilities, to identify areas that require urgent upgrade of security arrangements, to identify different approaches required in securing each custodial facility based on their peculiarities. To this end, I have directed that all custodial centers should be designated as critical national assets, and the Armed Code of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense should be drafted to complement the operations of their security agencies in line with their mandate. This does not in any way remove the already in place arrangement with other security agencies. It's just to further enforce it. The ministry is working on the process of mandatory DNA capturing of all inmates in the custody of the Nigerian Correctional Service, either as awaiting trial persons or convicts. The objective is to develop a database of the digital footprint of all inmates and custodial facilities. This will significantly aid forensic investigation of crime when completed. This initiative is expected to lead to a reduction in crime and facilitate speedy investigation. It will also make it easy to track and rearrest inmates who may illegally escape from custody. I'm pleased to inform Nigerians that we have captured the biometric information of all inmates in the facilities of the Nigerian Correctional Service. There is no single inmate with us that is not captured on our own database and on NIMC database. Please permit me to highlight that the ratio of male inmates to female inmates in the custodial center is 98:2. So, women, I deliberately put this to let the world know that our women in Nigeria are fantastic, law-abiding citizens. Our women in Nigeria are fantastic, law-abiding citizens. And I want to call on our brothers to emulate the women. 98:2. The total number of convicted female inmates is 256. while 50 female inmates are on death row. 58. There are 1,019 female inmates awaiting trial. The total number of inmates in the Nigerian custodial facilities is 69,680, out of which 50,223 are awaiting trial persons, and 19,457 are convicted inmates. So just look at this figure I've given you. And women are almost insignificant. I give kudos to Nigerian women for their comportment, attitude, and lawful standing in the country. Now I move to Federal Fire Service, the Federal Fire Service. If I were to be on the campaign ground, I have a song for women, but I will not sing it here because gentlemen, you are a tough people. Don't provide me with water, a glass of water. They're tough people. They won't care for me to have water. Water. I just want to, it's just to tease you, just to tease you. The federal, you want to give easy? Don't, it won't, okay. It won't stay, don't worry. So I'll put it here, don't worry. We need to have such a comical relief. We need to have that comical relief to reduce stress and pressure. So, women, oh no, I'm proud of them. Very proud of them. Very, very proud of them. Gentlemen of the press, I must not fail to bring to your attention that prior to the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, the Federal Fire Service had only 3 unserviceable vehicles. Listen and listen very well. Prior to 2015, the Federal Fire Service had only 3 unserviceable vehicles. 2 in Abuja and 1 in Lagos. Where we had Federal Fire Service. Those are the only locations that there was Federal Fire Service. Lagos and Abuja. In Abuja, we had 2 unserviceable vehicles. In Lagos, 1. The administration has recorded unprecedented investment in firefighting in the history of Nigeria, which has resulted in significant improvement in the response time and efficiency of the Federal Fire Service to emergencies. I'm indeed extremely pleased to inform Nigerians that we have been able to reduce the value of assets destroyed by fire and other disasters. In the period under review, the Fire Service responded to 698 fire outbreaks in 2019 and 3,555 in 2020 across the country. In 2019, the agency saved 99 lives and 1,100 in 2020. In 2019, assets valued at 1.82 trillion naira were saved from Inferno, while in 2020, assets valued at 1.35 trillion naira were saved across the country. This achievement made possible by the expansion of the offices and operation of the Federal Fire Service from 14 states and FCT before the period under review to all 36 states of the Federation. The Federal Fire Service deployed 106 brand new state-of-the-art fire trucks to the 36 states, accompanied with well-trained personnel as fire cover to combat fire outbreaks. This has enhanced the firefighting capability of the FFS, and this standard is available in all states of the Federation. The effective coverage of the service across 36 states is expected to encourage the subnational fire service agencies to also invest heavily in firefighting and support their operation. It's not to displace or replace the capacity of the subnational administrations or governments from investing in their own local fire management service, but to enhance and complement them. We have also procured and deployed the first ever modern hydraulic firefighting truck to Lagos to be able to respond to fire incidents in high-rise buildings. We have an objective to enhance the federal fire service capacity to respond to fire disaster in high-rise buildings across the country. We have established the National Fire Data Repository Center in the 6 geopolitical zones in the country, which is the first in the history of fire service in Nigeria. The National Fire Data Repository Centers, the National Fire Data Repository Center has the following functions: emergency response and coordination by receiving emergency alerts, coordinate response, coordinate premise inspection, and conduct fire investigation. Enterprise services which provide control of fake fire extinguishers and fire alarm panels gateway remittances to ensure quality control on fire safety products. The ministry has commenced the construction of 12 metropolitan fire stations across the 12 zonal commands that were created to bring the federal fire service, fire and rescue services closer to the people. When completed, these fire centers will house every necessary modern firefighting equipment and plants that can fight all kinds of fire and in all kinds of buildings and spaces towards improving the efficiency of the service and bringing that efficiency closer to the people. In addition, for the first time in the history of this country, the Federal Fire Service has procured and deployed ambulances to all zonal commands. To date, we have deployed 20 basic life support ambulances and employed paramedics to provide first care to fire victims and any victim of disaster and transport them to hospitals for treatment. This is an effort to reduce death rate from fire incidents and disaster sites. The ministry has commenced the process of public-private partnership for the deployment of automatic fire alarm system nationwide. The existing system is premised on call and response where victims reach out to fire service. The automatic fire alarm system will be directly linked from homes and businesses to the Federal Fire Service Command and Control Center and ensure that fire alerts are received in real time through electronic gadgets by the agency and property owners before any major damage is done through the press of button. This will significantly improve response time to fire disaster in the country and reduce financial and economic loss to fire disasters. To further improve response time for fire incidents and disasters, fire emergencies, the Federal Fire Service has created the Fire Volunteer Force in every local government area, as well as the Special Fire Marshals. We continue to develop the capacity of our firemen to international standards to effectively handle fire emergencies. We have also intensified our fire risk assessments of buildings across the country. We have averted numerous fire disasters involving multiple vehicles occasioned by fuel tanker accidents across the country. We have also developed the capacity of personnel to respond to building collapse, flood, and disaster management. Gentlemen of the press, I'm pleased to reiterate that this administration's achievement in firefighting equipment is unprecedented in the history of Nigeria and has enabled the Federal Fire Service to confront several fire emergencies that could have resulted in huge human, financial, and economic losses across the country. My hope is that in the not too distant future, Federal Fire Service will have capacity to fight fire aerially. Before we acquire our own aircraft, we have initiated a process to synergize with the Nigerian Air Force, so that Nigerian Air Force, working with our fire officers, can readily deploy to huge fire sites to really attack such fire. Then we are working on the acquisition of our own area firefighting crafts. And though not here, let me tell you that we have one of the best motivated fire service personnel in the world. I don't know. The fire officer, come here, come and sit here. You have no seat. You have no seat. Let him sit here. We are one of the our fire officers in outlook, in disposition. That man must be here. Please get a place for him. This man must be here. Look at his height. Look at his height. Find a place to sit. Let them see. Find a place to sit. Find a place to sit. We have. No, let him. This is the head of. I will keep quiet. Let him sit. Okay, come here and face them. Just face them. Face them. We have in Nigeria one of the best kitted, motivated, and good firemen and officers in the world. And this is made possible by President Muhammadu Buhari through his huge investment in the Federal Fire Service. Take your seat. That's just one. It's not the CG. It's just one of the officers of the Federal Fire Service. Their courage, their comportment, their confidence, their smartness are world class. World class. Now, the Nigerian security and civil defense. The core special forces personnel are currently deployed along with other security agencies in various joint operations such as Operation Sharandaji, Operation Polo Shield, and Operation Adenkai against activities of kidnappers and bandits. These operations are aimed at addressing the menace of armed banditry, kidnapping, and cattle rustling. They have averted many suicide bombings through proactive measures, vigilance, and community intelligence gathering. The Corps continue to collaborate with other security agencies to curb the nation's security challenges, which include insurgency, harder farmer clashes, cultism, piracy, terrorism, and economic sabotage across the Federation. Through the operation of Agro Rangers Squad, physical security is being provided to the agro-allied sector of the economy. The civil defense personnel have been deployed to protect farmers in Borno, Bauchi, Gombe, Kebbi, and many other states that have solicited for the deployment of the Agro Rangers. And we are going further to embed this unit in all farming communities, starting with some modern areas, to eliminate other farmer clash in any part of Nigeria. But we will do some models by embedding the officers among such communities. Before this agreement will escalate to tension and confrontation, they will have intervened. The Corps continue to protect internally displaced persons in the northeast of Nigeria to provide protection against terrorist attacks and infiltration of the camps. They have also been deployed to schools in the northeast. A core mandate of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps is the protection of critical national assets and infrastructure. Refineries, industries, rail stations, mines, and steel, power sector, telecommunication, water resources. It is worthy to mention that the high rate of vandalism of critical national assets and infrastructure, which was a regular occurrence in the past, has now been greatly reduced with the deployment of more civil defense officers to man these assets. The ministry is in the process of conducting a comprehensive census of critical national assets across the country for the purpose of manpower and resource planning, for effective protection of these assets. We have established first ever female response squad to support the Safe School initiative of the federal government. This squad is being deployed across state commands of the agency to protect students from being kidnapped in schools, protect critical national assets, and respond to crime alerts. We have established a special squad called Transport Marshals to provide protection and security to the transport industry, particularly rail transportation and airports. Also, I have also directed that firefighting truck should be designated as critical national assets, and because indeed they are. The meaning of this is that a rapid response squad will provide security to officers of the Federal Fire Service whenever and wherever they are responsible for that call. So, Nigerians, want your words to stop disturbing our firemen and officers, because we have instructed the civil defense, their armed squad, to be the first responder to every fire emergency site. They cordon off the area to prevent anybody assaulting our firemen. Whoever dares to test our will will face grave consequences. We have commenced a review of the Private Guards Company Act 1986. The PGC Act 1986 has become obsolete and no longer addresses the realities of the private security industry. The objective of the proposed private security industry bill is to revamp the private security industry in Nigeria, standardize and professionalize the private security industry in line with best practices. It's also an effort to integrate the private security industry into the internal security architecture to complement the state security actors, particularly in the area of community intelligence gathering. In line with the above, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps is working with relevant stakeholders to establish standard private security training centers across the country with standard curriculum that emphasizes that not only man guarding, human guarding, but internal security, intelligence gathering, oversight on national assets, and disaster management. This initiative is expected to enhance the capacity of private security practitioners in the country, professionalize the job, create more well-paid jobs, and enhance internal security. The military is fully aware of the role of proliferation of illegal firearms in the current level of security across the country. The military has mandated the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps to set up a special squad to support recovery of illegal arms across the country. Targets have been set and constitute part of the key performance indicator for the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, which shall be reviewed monthly. We expect the successful implementation of this initiative to reduce the proliferation of arms and ammunition in Nigeria and ultimately enhance internal security. Part of the mandate of the Corps is alternative dispute resolution. Officers are being trained on this and have deployed their skills to settle a number of community clashes, farmer-others clashes, as well as ethno-religious conflict across the country. We continue to strengthen the intelligence gathering capability of the Corps, particularly considering the fact that the officers live among the citizenry. Gentlemen of the press, it is important to mention that the scope of the activities and operation of civil defense has significantly increased since the advent of this administration. To effectively rise to the new challenges and position the Corps for the future, the military has embarked on manpower audit of the NSCDC. The audit is to assess the Corps' current human resources vis-à-vis the existing ranks, job functions, training, and compatibility with the new security challenges being faced and manpower gap arising from the sharp increase in the number of critical national assets to be protected. A psychometric evaluation of all the officers of the Corps will also be carried out to establish those that are fit and proper to bear arms. It is the vision of the ministry to elevate the status of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps to an elite paramilitary corps that Nigerians will be very proud of. They are equally fantastically kitted. Yeah. That's their CG. I'm proud of what the corps is turning, civil defense is turning into. But we must give kudos to the president. Without his humongous support, whatever we are reading to you and saying about our agencies and ourselves would have been impossible. The Civil Defense, Corrections, Immigration and Fire Board. This board is charged with the responsibility of the recruitment, promotion, and discipline of all officers of the paramilitary agencies with the Ministry of Interior. I didn't use under, with the Ministry of Interior. Our vision for the board includes the following: to have a technology-driven recruitment process that is seamless for applicants and designed to reduce recruitment error, manipulation, enhance performance of the paramilitary agencies. To have a promotion process that encourages continuous learning and personal development of officers through an e-learning portal, and ensure a transparent and effective promotion exercise that identifies and rewards the serving officers in the paramilitary agencies. To enhance discipline across the ranks in the paramilitary agencies and ensure that misconduct and operational practices are not tolerated. In pursuit of this vision, for the first time in the history of the ministry, we adopted a computer-based test for the recruitment of officers into the paramilitary agencies. It had never happened before, and it was vehemently resisted by vested interest, but we were able to get around it with support of the president. Hitherto, recruitment was paper-based and often led to chaotic situation examination centers and even loss of life, and it's not transparent. The ministry entered into a partnership with JAM, the Joint Admission and Education Board, to conduct the computer-based test for the recent recruitment by the board using JAB accredited centers nationwide. So we use the JAM deployed to their centers. This eliminated the chaotic situations applicants go through to write application examinations. It has also eliminated any form of corruption in the process and made it more transparent. This will be a standard practice going forward. Over 19,235 officers have been recruited in the period under review. This comprised of 2,200 for the Federal Fire Service, 7,045 for the Nigerian Civil Correctional Service, 4,290 for Nigerian Immigration Service, and 5,000 for the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. The board is in discussion with stakeholders for the setting up of e-learning portal that will provide continuous and mandatory learning and personal development for officers of agencies. In the quest to boost personnel morale and ensure higher productivity, the board has promoted 27,025 paramilitary personnel between 2019 to date, the highest number by any admission in the annals of our history. At the moment, the 2021 promotion exercise is ongoing for over 40,000 eligible officers, at the end of which at least 30,000 will be promoted based on available vacancies declared by the paramilitary agencies. In addition, it's also to be noted that we now engage private monitors to supervise the examinations across the zones to ensure the integrity of the process. In our effort to enhance morale and image of the paramilitary agencies, the board secretariat has been remodeled, and you must give kudos to the executive secretary of the board for being able to achieve this without any pressure or extra money from anywhere. A visit to the board secretariat will tell you that Nigerians can be innovative, creative, and ingenious. Let me let them see you. The lady at the helm of affairs in that board made that possible. Thank you, ma'am. The board secretary has been remodeled to reflect the new vision of a forward-looking, innovative, and responsive organization. The board has commenced the process of periodic performance appraisal of heads of the paramilitary agencies under the ministry with specific key performance indicators towards achieving the presidential mandate on provision of security for all. As chairman of the board, I directed the board secretary to design a performance appraisal template along the KPIs that will ensure that we achieve the directive of the President to ensure that we provide security for citizens. This performance appraisal is to ensure that all the paramilitary agencies are focused on the delivery of the mandate of their respective agencies and eliminate any form of complacency. Leadership is responsibility, and as a ministry, we want to hold our heads of agencies accountable. Headquarters of the ministry, so that you don't say that, you talk of others. What about yourself? What are you doing? For the first time in the history of the ministry, we introduced quarterly performance review meetings for the ministry and its agencies. Quarterly. This is to regularly review and monitor performance and ensure that we remain focused on our key performance indicators from the 9 priority areas of this administration, as well as our other mandates. The goal is to promote service delivery to Nigerians. The meeting also helps to identify challenges and address them quickly. Similarly, we have introduced quarterly performance review meetings with all service providers engaged by the ministry and the agencies. It is designed to review the operation of the service providers to ensure that Nigeria and Nigerians continue to get value from their partnership and provide solutions to challenges that they may inquire in the course of rendering service under the contract. The objective is to track performance and ensure better service delivery to Nigerians and others benefiting from the services arising from the public-private partnership. The ministry has updated the expatriate quota handbook. This updated version is designed to strengthen the administration of expatriate quota permits in Nigeria and achieve its objective of industrializing Nigerians and creating jobs for its citizens. The updated version also took into consideration Executive Order 1 on the ease of doing business in Nigeria, while aligning the revised document with the country's current reality and best practices. Our objective is to use the updated guidelines on expatriate quota administration as a vehicle for industrialization and job creation for Nigerians through the enforcement of the conditions for approving the quota, and at the same time enhancing internal security by eliminating fraudulent application and identifying illegal expatriates who are undocumented and who may pose a danger to the peace and stability of Nigeria. Between 2019 and 2021, October, over 87,000 expatriate quota positions were granted. 951 business permits were granted, and 598 licenses were issued to public places of worship for the conduct of statutory marriages. We recently inaugurated the Ministerial Task Force on Monitoring of Expatriate Quotas. The primary objective is to audit, monitor, and enforce the conditions for the approval of expatriate quota and foreign business permits. Nigerians may wish to note that one of the conditions for the approval of expatriate quota permit is that every expatriate position, the company must employ, for every expatriate position, the beneficial company must employ 2 Nigerians to understudy the expatriate for eventual takeover. Thus, from 2019 to date, 153,720 direct jobs have been created through the understudy program. Clap for us now. We deserve applause. It is also a condition that the Nigerian understudy must be exposed to local and foreign training in line with the profile of the job. It is expected that this monitoring and audit process will open up door opportunities for Nigerians. The task force has since commenced work. The ministry is resolved to enforce the conditions under which the expatriate quota approvals were given. It is also worthy of mention that the ministry has established a new monitoring division to inspect organizations proud to the grant of expatriate quotas and public places of worship proud to issuance of license to conduct statutory marriage. The division also investigates petitions against expatriate quota malpractices and enforce provision of the various acts and guidelines for expatriate quota, citizenship, statutory marriages, and licenses to conduct such marriages. We have commenced the process of expansion of statutory marriage registries across the country. In the period under review, 5 new marriage registries have been established in Benin, Kano, Jos, Owerri, and Port Harcourt. We are in the process of establishing at least 20 more. So we want to encourage Nigerians to marry and maintain a good marriage. Our goal is to set up at least 1 federal marriage registry in each of the senatorial zones where statutory marriages are patronized. The objective is to make statutory marriage process easier and close to people who require the services. I'm pleased to inform Nigerians that the legal notices contained in the second schedule of the Marriage Act have been amended and approved by Mr. President and published in the Federal Official Gazette of 16th April 2021, Volume 108. The review of other sections of the Marriage Act have been processed. As a result of this, the discord between local government marriage registries and federal marriage registries are brought to an end. By virtue of these notices, the local government marriage registries are brought into the fold as they are now recognized and authorized to conduct statutory marriages upon fulfillment of certain administrative guidelines. To complement the activities of the various security agencies, the ministry has implemented the Nigerian Internal Security Public Alert System, NISPAS. It is an integrated mobile application developed to assist the public access prompt response to emergencies and public safety concerns. NISPAS is available as an app on Android and iOS phones. We have also established a command and control room where all alerts are monitored and coordinated in real time. We consider the mandate of the ministry to be critical to national development. For this reason, the ministry has commenced the process of developing its first ever strategic plan for the next 5 years. You may recall that upon assumption of the office as a minister, we held the first ever annual ministerial strategy retreat in January 2020. The 5-year strategic plan will serve as a roadmap on how the ministry will go about its mandate of securing the homeland and provide a clear idea to stakeholders on the direction the ministry wants to go in providing internal security as well as other services provided by the ministry and its agencies. The idea is to create a shared vision and system, thinking in the ministry with all the paramilitary agencies complementing each other towards a common goal. Our second annual ministerial strategy retreat, where the strategic plan will be ratified, is expected to hold in Ilorin in December this year. In concluding, gentlemen of the press, thank you for your patience. Let me salute the state, let me salute the ministry and its agencies. Let me take this again. In concluding, gentlemen of the press, let me state that the ministry and its agencies are determined to achieve the presidential and ministerial mandates by evolving approaches to internal security, public safety, and citizenship integrity driven by innovation, people, technology, and systems, in addition to robust collaboration with critical stakeholders. We are determined to make our services available to the public in a seamless and customer-centric manner. Our promise is to keep improving on services we render to the public and delivering on our mandates, and we thank Mr. President and Council for the support we have received in that regard. I thank you all for your attention, your tolerance and endurance through the period of reading this to you. May God bless all of us. God bless our country. God bless our president. God bless Nigerians. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Interior, for the extensive understanding of the presentation.
We have the water for him.
I don't take Swan.
Oh, what do you prefer?
I take
Leslie. try and get that for you. Can I get Nestle? It doesn't take long. Do you have Nestle in your office?
So take two sets of four questions each, and it's as a custom here, please your name, the platform you represent,
Is that on?
and also,
Eh?
and also
Is it on?
please make sure the question is as short as possible. Short, straight to the point. Two sets of questions, four each. I'll start from here. Dr. Emmanuel Amede, Yemi, PNT. The Bosco
I
Vanguard.
want to get you some water.
Actually, now. Any other question? Dr. Leon Chibi. I'll start with everybody, please. Honorable Mr. Samuel, my name is Ogbeni from VIT. I have just a question. The first one has to do with the recent attacks on correctional facilities in the country. I want to find out from you, what would you say is the main reason for this attack? You say as a result of the poor security situation and correctional facilities, or what half is the issue? And for most of this attack, you either find out that there is an insight that you perhaps give a little to some of these attackers who come. What are you doing with this?
Mr. Johnson, the meeting has been started, so we can take our seats according to our names.
So there's a class. Okay.
Service, just final question. No. Okay, sir. My first question has to do with the recent attack on correctional facilities in the country. My name is Yemi Adebayo from AIT. So I'm asking that the recent attacks on correction facilities, as the minister in charge, what would you say is the main reason for these attacks? Because we've had cases where people attribute some of these things to the poor security situations at some of these correctional facilities. And then there is this issue of the attackers who come in to attack these facilities, who definitely, they have an insider who gives them some sort of leeway before they can gain access to the facilities. What are you doing in this regard to check some of these issues? Then secondly, you talked about reading some of these agencies under you of corruption. And I'm sure that you must have seen this, I don't know, or some of the social media videos showing officers of the Nigerian Immigration Service extorting people at the airports. What are you doing as well in this regard to check these sharp practices? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister, sir. My name is Dr. Leon Sigbe of the Nigerian Tribune. Further to the question, Dr. Leon, L-E-O-N, of the Nigerian Tribune. Further to the question the previous speaker asked concerning the jailbreaks, I would like you to give us how many inmates are still on the run, and how many have you been able to rearrest since this jailbreak started? And maybe to modify what you said earlier, have you, from the investigations, have you been able to unravel the brains behind these constant jailbreaks? Then for fire service, I would like to know whether the service played any role in the recent Ikoyi building collapse. I ask this because we were told when the building collapsed, there was no help until about 2 hours later. So if fire service, I believe fire service ought to be among the first responders. If they participated in trying to salvage the place, what were the constraints? Why were they not there on time? Thank you, sir.
Honourable Minister, my name is Dr. Anule Emmanuel, right for AFP News Agency. Honourable Minister, I'm asking this question bearing in mind that one of the core mandates of your ministry is security of lives and property. Are you aware of any threats from Boko Haram sleeper cells in Lagos? And if you are aware, how serious is this threat? Thank you.
Yeah, Your Excellency, my name is John Bosco Abagru.
Where do you work?
I write for Vanguard. Once again, John Bosco Abagru, I write for Vanguard. Yeah, my first question is, have you been able to arrest some of those people that attacked correctional service, and how many of them are facing prosecution now? The second one, sir, a human rights group has accused you of seeking permission, approval from Mr. President to deploy civil defense officers to the homes of politicians. What is your reaction to that? Is that allegation true? Thank you.
Okay, we'll take this first 4 sets. If there's need for another set, we'll continue.
Keep the mic, keep it.
My first question, sir, Excellency, the people that attacked correctional service, how many people are arrested and how many are facing, if at all arrests were made, how many people facing prosecution?
Thank you.
Yes, sir. A human rights group. Oh.
Mike, please. What's the question? All these multiple solutions. Just okay. Speaking now.
Hello?
Emi Adebayo, your question, what was the cause of attacks on the considered facilities? Is it a matter of a weakness within the system, either on physical security or internal sabotage? My answer is so simple. The security situation of every space, community, society, and nation reflects on all aspects of that society, community, and nation. So, whatever we are witnessing in the facility is a fallout of the challenges we are having nationally. Please take that. Now, as to the specific causes, what I will say is this. It's not specific. It's a little bit varied and diverse. Yes, attacks could be for the release of specific persons in the centers, or simply to embarrass the government. Whatever is the cause, our duty is to make the facilities impregnable, so as to enforce the will of the state on those who are legally to be kept there. That's our own responsibility. And we are committed to ensuring that it's not just only to enforce the will of the state by making sure that nobody that is legally put in custody is let out. It's to prevent the dangers of society can be exposed to, should they be out before their time. That being established, there are things I must not even say because of the confidentiality and specification of such things. What is clear is this: the state, as a state, and I don't know if I have to define what a state is, will never allow anybody to trample on its authority as an enforcing medium. So whoever attacks our facility has already violated the sacred rule of the state. And wherever he runs to in the world, we are after such a person, and we'll get them. Go and look at how long it took Escobar to escape justice. He was invariably brought to justice. All the criminals that feel they can at will test our will as a government will ultimately face their comeuppance, and justice will catch up with them. Take that as an assurance for me. Dr. Leon of the Nigerian Tribune, emails on the run. I'll give you. No, I have it. I don't worry about it. I have it. Somebody of our task from 2020 to date, we have total escaped inmates 4,860. Recaptured 954. Still at large 3,106. Dr. Leon, that's the fact. Breakdown is there, but that's a summary. I didn't have the name of the man who required for the FS, the FS is the same man, Dr. Leon. At Ikoyi, the Federal Fire Service responded promptly with all the other emergency responders. And our Deputy Controller General of Operation was there throughout. That's the highest level of deployment. So be rest assured that we do not in any way shirk our responsibility. As we are smart in output, we are smart in operation. AFP, I couldn't get to name, but I know you represent AFP. Boko Haram in Lagos, to confirm. I have no such. And let me also tell you why you must take my word for it. I received intelligence report on security every day. These most people don't know. The only person that gets more intelligence than my office is the president. From all agencies, I get reports on a daily basis. I have no such record that Boko Haram cell is in Lagos. So if there is no cell in Lagos, there is no thing to report to you about. John Bosco. I like your name. I just like it. No, the name is militant. We are on the attackers. A couple of them were arrested in Imo, but I'll tell you, we're on them. And they know we're on them. They can run. They can never hide. Do I abuse my office? The answer is capital no. It's a pity that such a report will come from a human rights organization. That is what we call high wire hagiography. Hagiography. You know the hagiography. So it's paid for. It's an actual job paid for to discredit me. I was a governor in that state for 8 years. What else do I need from the state than to be a father of all? I've told Nigerians that I will never ever run for senatorial ticket. So if I want for senatorial ticket, what do I need to do in the place? Please dismiss it from your mind as a figment of imagination of whoever put that together. I didn't abuse my office as a governor. I did abuse my office as a minister, as a commissioner for works and infrastructure in Lagos. What do I now need to abuse my office? What for? When I have enough things on my hand to grapple with. Please, take it out of your mind. It does not exist. It only exists in the fertile imagination of the hagiographer who put that together. I thank you.
Okay.
Oh, there's a question I've not answered. Corruption in the NIS. I want to believe I dwelt on this extensively in my speech. But probably to re-emphasize it, we are working hard at it and we are sure we will get rid of it. I thank you.
Okay, last set of questions now. You do your clarification, don't worry. Anthony, Gloria. Okay. Any other person there? Okay, 1, 2, 3, and then the clarification.
Honorable Minister, sir, my name is Horatius Egua. I write for
Horatius Ekwa arrived for the bridge. It's just clarification, sir. The bridge news. The bridge news.
Is that one line?
Yes. You said the total figure of escapees, 4,860. I just want to know, is it national figure or for specific prisons? Is it national?
From 2022.
Okay, thank you, sir. 2023.
Honorable Minister, sir, my name is Anthony Aleme. I write for Business Day. Sir, going through the speech, I discovered that over the years we have continued to have a high figure for recurring of awaiting trials. And in previous speeches, even this year, you said about 74% of the total inmates are awaiting trial. And again, looking at what you gave us now, 19,000 have been convicted out of 69,680. Are you not disturbed about these consistent figures? And what efforts are you putting in place to ensure speedy dispensation of, justice in the system, as well as what implication does this have for your operations in the correctional service system, sir? Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Gloria Omezuke from Channels TV. You mentioned the staggering figure, over 4,000 prisoners still at large. And you also mentioned in the same breath that you have the biometric details of all inmates. Why is it difficult to track these ones? And again, my question, the other question, it's on the rail tracks. What are you doing to intensify protection of these tracks? I know it's under the NSCDC or something, particularly after the Abuja-Kaduna rail attack. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. My name is Doka Zalo. I work for Viewer Television and Africa No Filter. My question here is...
Where do you work?
Viewer Television, 191 Star Times.
Viewer.
Viewer. To view. Okay. My question here is part of the... Please, can you guys keep quiet? Thank you. Part of the major challenges that Nigeria has faced is banditry, and it's an obvious fact that it's a product of our porous borders. Now, firstly is, we've seen efforts made by the security agencies to try to curtail this, but the question is, what is the ministry doing, not just to curtail, but to also forestall future happenings? This particular question is anchored on the fact that a lot of Nigerians think that Nigerian leadership is not proactive. So if before now we had the issue of porous borders and we've seen the consequence in banditry, what are you doing to make sure this doesn't happen in future? Thank you.
That's all.
I said to come after prayers.
Horatius of the bridge. Trial, courses, high number. And the demand for business day, application of okay. Is that the same question from Russia?
No, you answered it.
After this, business day, okay. I waited. Am I disturbed?
No.
I'm more than disturbed. That answers that. I'm more than disturbed. I'm worried. But as to what's our response? First of all, let's define rules. Government departments, ministries and agencies have defined responsibility The government as a whole is joined. Government is not separated, but government in its delivery of services allocates roles to ministries, departments and agencies. The correctional service role is purely to hold in custody errant member of the public, either as suspects or as convicts. I'm worried that a single person that will be in our care is freed forcibly. So it's painful and worrisome. As to why we have a huge proportion of awaiting trial, that is the question for all of us. Because 99% of the awaiting trial inmates in our facility are state offenders. 99%. On our 100%, 99% of the awaiting trial inmates are what? State offenders. Then because of our laws in Nigeria, the subnationals, the states and local government do not have separate custodial facility. That is why they are where they are. As to reducing their number and the congestion consequently the custodial facility, the states jurisdictions, the state authorities with their judiciary have to work together with us as we initiated in 2020. And we have set the parameters for releasing them. So your question properly should be channeled at that level for any effect. But as to us, there is nothing we have left undone. However, there's a federal body that is committed with the congestion of the facilities. That body can only work within its own rule. It cannot compel subnationals to release. I hope I'm understood in that regard. Yeah, it's hampering our operation and it's putting pressure on us. Financially, because we have to feed them. Besides even the question of making the cost the facilities impregnable, we have to feed them. It's expensive feeding them. It's expensive sustaining their health. It's expensive, protecting the facility. Very, very expensive. But of course, as a nation, that's our primary responsibility, and we are committed to doing it. The lady said, why are we having difficulty with BVN? Yes. There are over 200 million, my sister, there are over 200 million Nigerians. Criminals who want to evade the law will not come where the profile we have obtained can be checked. How long can they run away from the law? That's the question. And that is the strength of the state. The state is a patient board. You can run, but you can never hide. I've given you the case of Escobar. Escobar ran. The Escobar was ultimately apprehended. So the state is patient. What is best is for you not to break the law. All those who have offended our laws in whatever form must realize that the state has one thing now on them. We have their biometrics. Whenever and wherever they appear to transact any legitimate business, their cover will be blown. Their identity will expose them. That should be your joy. That there cannot be anonymity again in crime commission or in criminality. Is that clear? Racial protection. We will continue to do what we can. Let me tell you something that I want you to take home. Yes, we admit that we are not really up to the antics of the criminals. They are today a step ahead of us. But as we are learning about their desperation to create problems for Nigerians, we are equally involving capacity to outdo them. And we shall outrun them, we shall outdo them, we shall make it possible for them to terrorize Nigerians.
If they are a step ahead of you, how are you confident you're going to outdo them?
Well, I'm human. As a state, what I have to say, what I've told you, they will never continue to outdo us. We shall soon outpace them, outrun them, outdo them, and prevent them from acting. That will take me. Whether I believe it or not, it's a question of your faith in us as an administration. I have faith in our capacity to outrun them, to outdo them, to neutralize them. I have no doubt in my mind. But I must admit that for the crimes that are committed so far, yes, there is place ahead. But they will not have that advantage for long. Tell no lies, claim no easy victory. That's the dictum. Viewers television, banditry and porous border. What? Oh, well, I must tell you this because it's quite interesting. I didn't talk about it. We are evolving a strategy that will mark every ward. Before we even embrace the satellite surveillance system, which we call e-border system, which will come very soon, we're almost concluding the deal with Huawei. We are reinvigorating the Nigerian Immigration Service to have operatives at each level of Nigeria community, such that strange faces can easily be identified, profiled, and indicated. So, and that will share to a large extent the effect of the porous border. And let me explain to you why the border is porous. Because we always tend to overlook some basic facts that are there for us to see. The boundary lines of African states are imaginary and artificial. Where you have communities of similar ethnic nationality, sub-ethnic nationalities, and people divided by an imaginary line, what do you expect? How do you prevent a Yoruba man in Nigeria, situated along the borderline between Benin Republic, from dealing with his own kid and king on the other side, because one portion is called Nigeria, another portion is called the Republic. So in his head, he does not see that line. So what we are doing is to develop capacity to engage the communities and make them have commitment with their fatherland. And that takes a lot of effort. And the Boundary Commission is what we are involved with. It's the amount of things that we have to do. But we are not, because of this, saying that we do not have responsibility to Nigeria. We have responsibility to Nigeria. And we are doing our best to ensure that, because of the factors, our borders are protected. I told you we have 4 operating bases where we are constantly patrolling to ensure that our borders are not violated. And there is an aspect that most of us don't even think about. It's called transhumance. Transhumance is the protocol governing movement of animals. We don't even, it's an ECOWAS protocol. So we are putting everything in place. We're encouraging Nigerians to support our effort. But what is important is this: the commitment and dedication of our administration to limit whatever challenge that we have there and increase our confidence in protecting our borders, our community, and our people. And one principal one is what I just told you now. We are repositioning NIS, Nigerian Immigration Service, to be able to identify dangerous individuals who come from across the border to create problems for us. And we are doing it. I think I'm going to. That's the end of it. Thank you.
So thank you very much. We would like to thank the Honorable Minister of Interior, the PS Interior, and the CGs of the 4 paramilitary agencies for anchoring today. We would like to thank their team members for also coming. Thank you very much. And most especially State House Press Corps. Thank you for always being here every Thursday and always doing justice. I think there's quite a lot of content that's been shared. His speech is available. Also, the presentation is available for you to use as content. Next week, we're having Minister of Youth and Sports, and the week after, the Minister of State Environment of COP26. Thank you. See you next week.
That was